Okay, this is a second part to square roots, and this is the examples that are below the list I showed of all the square roots that work. Um, when you deal with numbers, numbers are easy. So for example, if we take a look at something like example A, this square root of 100 would be just 10 times 10, so the answer would be 10. But this one's 6. But the rest of them have letters. So what do you do when they have letters or letters and numbers? Now the question's a little different. Let's take a look at this one first. M to the power 4, and we're taking the square root of it. Okay, I'm just going to go below here and we can try this question below. To take the square root of m4, I'm going to write it out just so we can see what it actually means. So what I'm trying to think is the answer is always going to be something times itself to equal m4. So in other words, how many m's would I need here to make m4? And the answer would be m2 and m2 because we always add the exponents. So the square root of m4 is m2. So the answer for here would just be m2. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's try the second one here, which would be, let's just change colors here and we'll try pink. Okay, sorry about that. And we'll look at K6. So let's find the square root of K6. So I'm going to move down here. Square root of K6. So let's write this out. We know it's got to equal K6. Something times itself has to equal K6. Now the only thing that would work here would be K3 and K3. So that means the square root of K6 is just K3. And then once you take the square root sign disappears. So like when I did the square root of m4, the square root sign is gone and I'm just left with m2. And when I took the square root of K6, I'm just left with K3. Okay, so now we know our answers are K to the power 3. And for these ones, you have numbers and letters. So what do you do for that? Well, just break it into two parts. The numbers are easy. Do those first and then worry about the letters. So it's kind of like a two-part question. Take the square root of 16. Square root of 16, if you don't remember, you can look back at that little cheat guide from the last video. It would be 4. The square root of K6 we already found was K3. So the answer would just be 4K3. Same thing when you did the square root of 4P4. We know the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of P4 would have to be P2 times P2 because that would equal P4. So the answer would be P2. So that's how you solve roots when you have numbers and letters or variables.